Hey friends, welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I think for this one we're gonna focus on doing this quest over here, from Kibela, to become the flagship's blood. The Death Cultists have pointed out where on the lower decks the path of the Matriarch Spider began, the freight line. Thus, it must likewise serve as a starting point on the Lord Captain's journey to the Temple of Death. So we have to find this Vizier of the Bloodspan Web. He invited us to the cult's temple and we have to find it. Okay, so I think to get there we have to use not this exit, this is for our quarters, this is the bridge. I think we have to go over here, yeah, to another compartment. Oh wait, what are these? I totally forgot about this. Voidship Shrine. Do we go there first? I mean, let's see what it is. Maybe it's fast. And Astropathic Chapel. Okay, what do we have here? Two exits. A powerful mole rests inside... Wait, what? What is this? A powerful mole rests inside the glass. The inscription on the reliquary reads, I'm Wrath. I'm the cleansing. Whosoever wields me walks in the footsteps of Furia. Wait, what? Oh, there are plates. Wait, what? Wait. Oh wait, there are 5 plates? Oh, they have letter. Wait, this is F. Wait, is there a U? What the hell is that? Is that a U? It looks like a U. Kinda. Wait, what? Am I tripping here? Wait, there must be more plates. Is this a plate? No. Wait, this isn't the U? What the hell is this? Oh shit, no. Man. So annoying. Don't select everyone. Okay, I think we have to do this. So this is not it. That is not it. Okay, so... Oh, there's another one here. Wait. So this one is first. Man, why does it select everyone? I'm only clicking once. So what is this? Is this a U? No, this is an A, right? It's not a U. Oh no, that's an A. Wait, what? I'm so stupid. Oh, this is a U. Wait. Oh, this is probably an I. So, wait. Oh, here. Okay. R. I. And then A. Furia. Okay. I guess I'm stupid. Never mind. What's that, a mace? Unquenchable Fury, one hand. The maximum push distance on this mole is 5 cells and any collision damage is increased by 50%. Huh, okay. I don't know about that. What do we have here? One sec. An ancient looting chainsword without a fuel engine rests on the weapon rack. Wait, what? The shape of its teeth makes you think of the Ulma Universalis, a pattern from the Angevin Crusade era. The skeleton inside the sarcophagus is holding a spherical object gleaming with gold. Initiate Ziek. The broad-shouldered young priest makes the sign of the Aquila. The Emperor protects, your lordship. How may I be of service? Who are you? Initiate Ziek, I recite prayers and help Confessor Adalbert with the rites. What is the relic next to you? The initiate looks over at the sarcophagus. The skeleton within is clutching an orb made up of many tightly fitted hoops covered in glyphs. A mysterious object, but undeniably a holy one. It was donated by a group of pilgrims who studied the legacy of the great missionary Nadine Aleinikov. They believed there was something inside that only someone truly righteous was meant to have. One of the pilgrims was so desperate to witness the moment of the orb's opening that they bequeathed their body to us. Oh, okay. That's... yeah, I'm sure they're ecstatic right now. A riddle? Cassia's eyes light up with curiosity. It would be most interesting to learn what is stored inside. Lord Captain, would you like to try opening the orb? Any ideas? One of your predecessors was the last to attempt solving the relic's mystery. It happened a long time ago, before Lady Theodora was born. That's all I know. Oh wow. Why not just disassemble it? To damage a sacred relic is an unthinkable crime, and to use force to bypass the test of wisdom and faith it contains is terrible blasphemy. Okay, I guess. Let's open the reliquary. I'm going to try to solve the mystery of the orb. The initiate opens the lock and hands you the orb. Someone has already moved the hoops around, trying to arrange the letters into meaningful sentences. It will only take a few more rotations for the orb to split cleanly into 4 parts, each with its own question. The answers should presumably be formed using adjoining hoops. Okay, so 4 questions. Form the question in the orb's first quarter. My light reaches everywhere. The greedy will see me in gold. The scholars in humanity's cradle, but only the righteous will see me within their souls. My light. So there's no way it's strength. There's no way it's Aquila. My light reaches everywhere. The greedy will see me in gold. I mean, it has to be Emperor, right? In humanity's cradle, but only the righteous will see me within their souls. But like, why would the greedy see him in gold? And why would the throne have light that reaches everywhere? Maybe it's made of gold? Or something? I feel like they want you to pick Emperor here. For better or worse, something clicks inside the orb. Okay. Oh, so we have to get all of them right. And we don't know if we picked correctly or not. I'm within every human and my loss is feared, for without me comes the end. But give me to the Emperor and you will be eternal. Okay, so it has to be either life or blood. Life or blood. Because like, the end doesn't really come if you are not faithful, right? And soul, I mean, I guess the same. But life and blood, you could make a case for either. Probably blood, I would say. I think it fits more. Another soft click comes from inside the orb. Okay, third question. I am poison, I am perdition, I am disgrace. Burn me down, eradicate me, or perish rejected by the Emperor. Okay, this has to be weakness, right? Heretic and betrayal don't really make much sense here. Burn me down, eradicate me, or perish rejected by the Emperor. Transgression. No, it has to be weakness, dude, for sure. Okay, fourth one. In your body, mind and soul, you must possess me. I'm no mere absence of stains. I bring you closer to him. Wait, we have no answers here? Wait, what? If I recall the pages of life of Nadine Aleinikov correctly, this part speaks about purity. Oh! Also, if we have like different companions, maybe we can have all the answers. But wait. We can only have like 2 more, so... I don't know about this. Maybe it's just Cassie that knows. Okay, so purity, I guess. The hoops shift and return to their previous arrangement. You will have to start over. Oh no. Okay, so I guess let's try throne here. Let's see if this does it. Blood, weakness, purity. Oh, hell yeah, dude. The orb comes alive. Its hoops shift around with alarming speed, coming together and folding into each other until the orb opens completely, laying its treasure bare. Missionary Oath. Once per combat, if the wearer does not use any abilities during their turn, they can end their turn to immediately grant all adjacent allies an extra turn with 1 AP. What? Wait, it's 1 AP though, not 1 extra AP. But I mean, still, this is like pretty good, no? How strange and exciting it is to behold the holy object that has lain hidden from the eye for so many years. Truly, it is a great day upon which the Rock Trader himself has revealed the legacy of great missionaries to us all. Oh, sick, bro. Okay, so who do we give this to? Maybe Pascal? But I feel like we're gonna cast stuff with Pascal. Maybe we'll give it to Kibella. And skip her first turn. I feel like she's the most useless of all here. Yeah, I think we're just gonna try that. See how that works. Confessor. Remember, ignorance is virtue, mercy is weakness, and there is no greater reward than to die in his name? Confessor Adalbert. Oh wait, isn't this the guy that we met when we recruited Kibella? Confessor Adalbert, a plump, rosy-cheeked old man, is lighting candles, taking his time with each. Glints of fire dance on his heavy golden aquila and in his sky-blue eyes as he addresses you, smiling. The Emperor protects your lordship. Are you here to pray, or have mundane matters brought you to me? There is an incredibly profound quality to his voice, and he speaks with mesmerizing timbre. I would like to find out more about this place. I could talk about the Reliquary Chapel for hours. Is this the only place of worship on the ship? Why no, there are multiple sancta on every deck, where your subjects pray fervently and the clergy keeps a close watch on the firmness of their faith. This, on the other hand, is the holiest of holy places, where only the noblest among your servants are permitted to set foot. I want those on other decks to be able to partake of this exuberance as well. Yeah, no, I'm good. Where does this collection of sacred relics come from? I mean, actually, okay, let's do this. Truly a most generous and gracious gesture, your lordship. I will arrange for commoners who have distinguished themselves in their service to be allowed in here. An event like that will fill them with fervor, and they will pass down the memory of what they have seen to their offspring. I guess we can just pick those options so we can get the other, like, I don't know what you call them, to level 2. Where does this collection of sacred relics come from? Every relic we have here was either arduously tracked down by your ancestors, captured in battle against the faithless, or received as a gift for glorious deeds. A show of loyalty to the Emperor that speaks for itself, does it not? He makes no effort to conceal his pride. For our part, we keep the precious relics intact and undisturbed as we conduct liturgies and perform rites. Initiate Ziek is especially diligent in his care for the relics. Though he is of common stock, he earned his position through dedication and piety. I would like to hear the Imperium's tenets from you. Wait, is this... In a voice brimming with solemnity, Adalbert begins. Every man and woman has their place in the order he created, and this order must be followed and the will of one's superiors obeyed. Beware of witches... Psychers? Yep. For they have been stained by the warp. Persecute mutants, for they are perversions of the human form, and hate the accursed Xenos. The Imperial Creed prescribes being wary of Psychers, but the Imperium needs them. I can understand, having been touched by the powers of the warp yourself, you are pondering your own essence. You are right, without the astropaths we are deaf and blind, and there are many other psychers laboring for the good of humanity. That is their place within the Emperor's design, but only those among them who accept his light have been authorized, yeah. Come to think of it, my warrant entitles me to violate the Imperial Creed in many ways. The Ecclesiarchy tells us to persecute mutants, but an exception was made for navigators. True. The Navis nobility are different from most humans, but their differences are a blessing. They are noble servants of the Imperium who help humanity expand its galactic domain. Do you not see that as a higher purpose that pleases the Emperor? Of course. It's a pleasure to hear that unlike the ignorant rabble, you give due acknowledgement to the greatness of our deeds, Confessor. Among the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Emperor is known as the Omnissiah. They have their own form of worship. Do they truly share our beliefs? Most certainly! Different likenesses of the Emperor and ways of worshipping him can be found across the Imperium's worlds, but we all believe in the one. For the purposes of optimizing the present exchange, I suggest regarding this statement as true. For a competent answer to the question, I recommend addressing this unit as a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus clergy. Okay, what is this? Come to think of it, my warrant entitles me to violate the Imperial Creed in many ways? Violate? Those are not to be conceived of as violations. A rogue trader's privileges come with a duty, the duty to expand the bounds of human influence. If the rogue trader must take responsibility for unorthodox solutions or actions in the course of performing that duty, then so be it. It seems there are more holes in the Imperium's religion than parasites on a grox. Okay, let's go. For the sake of your own soul's salvation, this conversation is over. Adalbert clutches his chest and exclaims in a fearful voice. What the hell? After hearing this, I will have to spend no less than 3 watches praying for your lordship? Wait, what? Okay, I'm gonna have to try to remember to come back to him in... Well, what are 3 watches? I'm not sure actually. Offer a prayer. The Aquila Anima, a fragment of the Cathedral of Eternal Redemption, brought from the Shrine World of Solis 6, now lost. Offer a prayer to the Emperor. You recite a prayer, the one you remember best. Okay. What did that do? Dude, this is so cool. So what else do we have here? Confessors, crew officers, servants. Remember, ignorance is virtue, mercy is weakness, and there is no greater reward than to die in his name. Yep. Oh god, 45%. Okay, what is this? Let's see. Oh yes, among the antique weapons you spot the mold known as Ferrum Fatum. Legend has it that its head split when it cracked open the skull of the loathsome demon Brenazar the Flayer. What? Can we take it? Initiate Kyotos. The Rex Regalia, the partially restored blade of Zathudas the Earnest, a missionary who decimated the abominable Xenos and fell in a deathly battle against the unrighteous. Now who are you? A lanky initiate is leaning over the cogitator, an expression of extreme mental effort on his face, his fish-like round eyes peering into the screen. Grant me understanding, master, grant me wisdom. He winces as you approach. Your lordship? How can I be of service? Who are you and what do you do here? I'm Clotus, Junior Relic. I sought recordings from the Shrine Confessional to pass on to higher ranking clergy. Is there a way to find out who made which confession? There is not. That would undermine the usefulness of it. The first prototype wasn't anonymous, so those confessions might as well have been carbon copies of each other. Everyone was impeccably diligent and pious and whatnot, but as soon as the machine spirit started keeping the name secret, the parishioners opened up. Tell the machine the truth about your heinous deeds? Leave me, servant, I need to confess. Tell me more about the confessional first, I guess? Our parishioners come here to repent, to share their innermost thoughts and observations of their neighbors. The sacred machine records all confessions and alters the voices beyond recognition. Okay, let's do this. Requires heretical adherence, so this is like level 2, no? Or is it votary? I don't remember. I think it's the first one. Wait, so what does this do? The initiate leaves you alone with the machine. You pour out all your unholy secrets and dark desires onto the hapless mechanism, describing your profane accomplishments in great detail. After the confession, not a trace of guilt or shame remains, only a satisfying sense of impunity. It appears you are having difficulties? Nothing escapes your lordship's notice. As it so happens, I'm struggling to categorize 3 rather peculiar confessions. I wouldn't have dared tell you about them, but I think they may have been left by senior officers, which would make this a matter of the highest order, one that is far beyond my meager understanding. These confessions, you see, are far from being examples of pious conformity. I dread the very thought of dissent or heresy poisoning the minds of some of the most eminent members of the crew, but I cannot change what I heard. I cannot share this with anyone but the Emperor's anointed, nor can I allow anyone but your lordship to listen to these messages protected by the secrecy of confession. What makes you think these confessions were made by senior officers? These parishioners are well spoken, meaning they are used to addressing an audience. Perhaps they issue orders and are vested with power? And well, after categorizing so many confessions, I have learned to notice the subtle differences between them. Okay, let's hear them. The initiate steps aside, putting the cogitator at your disposal. Impious doubt? What? One question has troubled me for years. Why are some destined to perish in the warp, while others must go on living and preserve the memory of the dead? Worthier and more luminous souls have been lost, and yet I am still here. Light static is distorting the recording, but you are confident that the speaker is male. Huh. I mean, I have no idea who that is. Theft of ship property. Okay, another male. The orphans on the ship have already been provided with the bare essentials, but every so often I consider increasing their rations and ordering more sets of clothes for them. That will not replace the families they lost, but it will improve their lives somewhat, especially given that the ship has enough resources to cover that comparably trivial expense. Okay, this has to be Dunrock, right? For sure. You have heard bridge officers gossiping that the High Factotum has taken personal charge of the orphans. Okay, yeah. Coded message irreverence. That's a woman, as though from behind a thick layer of glass. Lop-eared klepas display a high degree of socialization both among their kind and toward their owners. These animals adjust well to a voidship's lower gravity, since it is similar to their homeworld's conditions. Lop-eared klepa meat is edible should necessity demand it. Wait, what? The voice sounds muffled, as though from behind a thick layer of glass. Could this be Vigdis? Because it does sound muffled, right? Probably. Because it has all those, I don't know what to call it, like implants, wires or whatever. And she's a woman, so I don't know. The initiate looks at you intrigued but does not say a word. Okay, I will seek them out, I guess. Troubling confessions. I suppose those confessions truly are special if your lordship is giving them his personal attention. Never would I have imagined the Rock Trader himself coming to my aid. Okay, I mean... yeah, I don't know who the first one is, but the other ones... Well, the second one is definitely Yanrock, and the third one might be Vigdis, but we'll see, we'll see. Okay. Oh! Wait. Voidship Bridge, Astropathic Chapel, Voidship Shrine. Wait, so... the first one has to be Astropathic Chapel then. Someone there. We haven't been there yet. Voidship Shrine, I guess this is here because of the quest. And Voidship Bridge, well, I guess that's because High Factotum is there, right? And possibly Vigdis? Wait, so are we done here? I think we're done. Yeah, I think we're done. Let me go back to the bridge really quick before we go to the chapel. Okay, so let's try Downrock first. Where is he? Here. Have you made a confession lately? Your lordship? You're truly masterful at springing unexpected questions on a man. However, I must admit, I don't quite understand this one. The orphans on the ship have already been provided with the bare essentials, have they not? Why are some destined to perish in the warp while others must go on living? A philosophical question. I imagine it is due to a complicated mix of experience, luck, and most of all, the Emperor's favor. Okay, let's do this. The maker of the second confession has been found. It was a High Factotum. He fidgets nervously with the rings on his fingers until he masters the courage to reply. I will not pry into how your lordship found out about my confession. I suppose it raised some questions for you. You are not scheming to misappropriate funds for the orphans' benefit, are you? Please, no scheming. Everything is duly accounted for. We have higher priority expenditure items, which is why the orphans only get the bare necessities. They are clothed and aren't starving, but for some reason I find scant comfort in rational arguments. Personal items, gifts on special occasions, or Nutribars for their growing bodies would certainly make the orphans happier. Okay, I'm wondering, like, if we do this, do we lose profit factor? I feel like if we lose profit factor, it's gonna be kind of insane, right? We can't spare some Nutribars or personal items for the orphans. Lavish spending is out of order. Concentrate on your duties. Do we do that? Let's try. By all means, your lordship. Only substantiated expenses for the good of the dynasty. Would you like to discuss something else? No. That's fine. Let me go talk to Vigdis. I wanna see if she's the one. Oh, yeah. Lop-eared Klepas, the confession. I assume you heard my confessional message? Do you want to talk about it? Yeah, Vigdis, I want a pair of Klepas aboard the ship. I'm going to quote my mother's response. That is impossible. You see, the species went extinct several centuries ago. I'm very sorry, Lord Captain. There aren't any Klepas to be had. Your confession perplexed the initiate. Find a way to delete it and we shall forget about it. Why though? I was fault setting the Vox devices in the ship's reliquary. Message recording works but deletion does not. You have helped me establish that, thank you. But wait, why Lop-eared Klepas specifically? At that time I had nothing to repent of, so I dictated an excerpt from an old letter to my mother. As you heard, it contained arguments in favor of keeping Lop-eared Klepas on the ship. I can still recite it from memory. Okay, so just delete it and we'll forget about it. Will do. Have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? No. Okay. So, I guess let's go to the other place, the Astropathic Chapel or whatever. Because apparently the last one is over there. Yeah, I wonder if we had Abelard, Didira and Argenta with us earlier during the puzzle. Maybe they would like give us the answers. But I can't imagine they would, right? I mean, maybe? The indispensable astropaths are instrumental in establishing communication between worlds and ships on the scale of the entire immense galaxy. Continually exposed to the Imperium's terrors, many of the Psykers perish, go insane, or even meet a fate worse than death. This looks really cool though. Bridge Technomat. Logic 100%, let's go.
How fascinating. To me, the Imperium is made of colors, but to the astropaths who dwell in this chapel, it is music.
Yeah, we know the astropathic choir, right? Okay, what is this? Can I... The machine uses its many quills to commit the astropath's whisper to paper, then sorts the resulting raw mental images based on their meaning. Okay. Chapel servant. So who is the one that confessed? Oh, we can't go back there. So this is like a call center or something. Maybe they're also scamming people. Bridge Technomat. Okay. Didn't I see some loot here? Wait, no, this is where we were earlier. Oh yeah, here. Underneath the grill, you can see enormous outlines of formidable machines in a greenish haze. The last beacon cannot be saved from the 13th storm. The lapsed father's beloved son will open its yawning mouth. Okay. Oblivion is inevitable. After the boundless sunset comes the horrific sunrise, brought forth... What the hell? What? Strange vitality effect applied. What? Oh, there is Zachary Weiss. I think we've seen him again with Kibela, right? Or no, maybe not actually. I think he came at some point. An endless stream of symbols fills the paper tapes. A deceased navigator's organ repurposed for the choir master's needs. Here is where processed messages converge from all over the chapel. So he has to be the one that did the confession, right? Okay, I don't see anything here. Logic... Sigma AR87. Once the text is ready for final interpretation, the compiler sends it to the choirmaster along with a list of meanings for the known images. Protect us from the machine spirit's unrest, for without his gifts our sacrifices are fruitless. You can barely hear the voice of the young astropath standing very still next to the bulky mechanism, his face frozen in a mask of despair. His anemic hands are pressed to his chest, clutching crumpled strips of thick paper. He hears you approach and composes himself. The engineer, his head lowered, does not so much as glance in your direction. With his hands folded underneath his robe, he makes a barely audible, unpleasant sound, a prayer in techno lingua. Wait, so this guy is the engineer? So it isn't Pascal. Pascal is the Magos or whatever. What's going on here? The sacred compiler is ailing, your lordship. A gloom has come over the machine spirits and they are disrupting the mechanism's operation. The 12th row of the drum is now adding incorrect symbols. The man shows you a stack of papers and you notice at once that the rows of squiggles in each line all end with the same glyph. We summon the servants of the Omnisaya, but the machine spirits are none too eager to heed their prayers. The esteemed engineer is in a state of tech prayer trance and hasn't moved from the spot for a day now. I had the audacity to think the sacred compiler could be better helped by examining its parts, but who am I to question the sacred knowledge of the Adeptus Mechanicus? Unit Sigma AR-87 is currently in a tech trance of shared comprehension with a spirit of archaeotech device catalogued under the name of Stream Spindle. Disturbing the unit is not recommended. Pascal falls silent. However, a preliminary diagnostic has revealed several algorithmic faults that are in conflict with the sacred mechanism's processes. A practical intervention into certain cycles will likely aid the release of the accumulated burden. Okay, so how do we intervene? Why, such a trifle of an error. How did you let this happen, dude? Forgive me, your lordship, but I do not know the answer. I'm afraid even the Adeptus Mechanicus don't fully comprehend the workings of this mechanism. We are only knowledgeable on the surface level machines. The receivers commit the messages to prayer, the transcribers sort the mental imagery by semantic category and feed it into the thesaurus core, and then the sacred compiler supplements the messages with a list of symbols and their interpretations. However, the mechanism extends far deeper into the bowels of the ship, therefore I wouldn't even venture a guess at the possible source of this trouble. Dude, that's wild. Like, who designed this ship though? Such a trifle of an error. Like, what is that? Imagine a single extra character creeping its way into the coordinates for a warp jump. Oh, okay, I see what he means. And sending the flagship to the center of a star. Imagine the word disloyal becoming is loyal, resulting in thousands of your faithful servants falling victim to treachery. Nothing is a trifle to an astropath. Yeah. Get everything working fast or all of you will be demoted to the lower decks. Okay, so how can I help? Oh, the compiler out of order. The mechanism that permeates the entire chapel has been malfunctioning. Every issue causing the problem must be identified and solved and resolved. Wait, so how do we do this? Oh, here maybe? Once the text is ready for final interpretation, the compiler sends it to the Quartermaster along with list of meanings for the known images. Yeah, we've seen it already, right? Or grumbling receiver router. Oh, we just use tech use. Scraps of paper are stuck deep inside the mechanism, causing it to rattle abruptly or terribly. Cleaning the machine's parts and anointing them with sacred unguent restores the machine to its clear, clanging voice. Okay, is this also... yeah. Cool. Servant... no, once clean of the candle wax that gets sipped inside, the inner workings of the interpreter move much more easily. I mean, yeah, why do you have candles next to the paper, dude? Oh wow, look at this. Everything is broken. The receiver's enormous reels direct paper tapes containing unprocessed text into the chapel's depths after blessing the paper with an imprint of sacred cogs. The voices blend in a natural unison. The longer you listen to the choral chant, the stronger your headache grows. The sensors of the text correcting calibrator are dead. A prayer to the Omnissiah makes the new sensors spring to life. Wait, are we doing that or Pascal though? Because like, I feel like we're not qualified for this. Is there more here? Oh no. Okay, so it's just those three? Hey bro, I fixed it. Oh wait, I didn't fix it? Wait. Oh, there's one more in the back. Over here? I see. The miniature screens are displaying red error messages. You command the machine to run a diagnostic and the messages disappear. I can't do anything though. Oh, there are more stuff! Okay, you have to go back and actually explore them to make them pop. The transcriber's quills are leaving blots on the paper. You remove the device casing and discover a leaking ink supply hose. So this is like a printer or whatever. Talk to the astropath. Your lordship, the astropath smiles at you, the shy, awkward smile of someone unused to smiling. The sacred mechanism is working again with no disruptions. With a trembling hand, the psyker hands you a strip of paper with smooth rows of etched characters, this time containing no errors. The engineer rises proudly to his feet and says in low Gothic, a language he clearly has not had much practice in. With sacred words and virtuous thoughts turned toward the machine god, I have been able to pacify the mechanism's wayward spirits. The Omnisaya blesses. You literally did nothing. I should rather say it was my efforts that helped make the machine operational. How lucky we are that the venerable tech priest is so pious and wise. That statement is true. I recommend installing 2 incense-burning units in this compartment to prevent the spirit's continued anger. The unit Zachary Wise will be provided with a list of minor recommendations, 142 in total, for improvements to this compartment's maintenance. Failure to implement will result in sanctions on the part of the Adeptus Mechanicus priesthood. What the hell? Wait, receive the decoded reports? What is that? How do I receive them? Wait, what? Once the sacred machine is repaired, Core Master Vice will be able to deliver previously indecipherable messages to the rogue trader. Oh, we have to talk to Vice. Okay, so I guess we don't do the Kibela quest now. Your lordship, I have something for you. The Core Master hands you a sheet of paper with uniform lines of machine type etched into it. Thanks to your assistance in repairing the compiler, we have been able to interpret a most curious message. It contains a code sign that agents of the renegade Volkvir used in their especially important reports. Could it be a message from Volkvir? He was more likely the intended recipient. When was the signal sent? I cannot say with certainty. Following the repair work, I went through text that had defied decoding before. This signal had lost its way in the bowels of the mechanism. It could be a week old or years. What does it say? Only a few words. Lilamed, Odenethus 11. The winds have ceased. It is done. Now Lilameda is Voidvir's call sign for special reports, but the rest is a code we're unfamiliar with. That said, we know where to look for the truth, the Odenethus 11 system. Okay, sure. I have no doubt of that. Who are you? Have you made a confession lately? I beg your lordship's pardon? Why are some destined to perish in the warp while others must go on living, dude? How odd. Odd that you should have listened to my confession, and odd that you should choose to approach me afterward. Why? I felt there was anguish in that confession. I wanted to help. I was worried the maker of the confession might be dangerous. Explain yourself. Nah, it's just curiosity. What was it about? Astropaths seldom die of old age, your lordship, unless one thinks of the inexorable drain our service is on our life, forces as an old age of sorts. Wait, what? Oh, more often the warp claims us in its cruel ways, and I have lost many a fellow. Death always keeps close to astropaths, and its punishments for arrogance and weaknesses are severe. I have seen my fellows die, and at times the memories are exceedingly hard to bear. Sadly, almost every quar has a story like that, and a survivor who has carried their ghosts with them ever since. My apologies, but I cannot continue worrying at these old wounds. Directing a quar requires a clear and firm state of mind. I have witnessed the death of one of your astropaths. Yeah, what happened? That's the guy that died earlier, right? May the God Emperor rest his soul and protect him from the ruinous power's tenacious claws. That was the 5th one this month. Our younger voices cannot handle the warp storms raging in the Expanse and end up losing their minds, if they're lucky. Something is afoot on the other side of the mall, Lord Captain. Something infinitely sinister. Something disastrous. The scraps of mental images that reach us from the Imperium carry the mark of doom. The images emanating from there are like a beast baring its teeth. You have heard accounts of disturbances in the warp affecting psychers, especially astropaths who delve most deeply into the immaterium. But there have been more and more alarming stories of late. Something is raging in the warp, something that poses a particular threat to those with psychic powers. That odd noise inside the chapel, does it not bother you? I mean, why would it bother him? On the contrary, Lord Captain, it is a mental focusing technique used by your flagship squire, one that I invented myself. This music was written by an astropath. What my charges and I hear in it is not what ordinary people hear. Its true depth and beauty cannot be fathomed without the Emperor's blessing. The music protects our minds from rudimentary thoughts, purifies and sharpens them, but above all else, it serves as a beacon of sorts amid the tumultuous sea of souls, a thread to lead us home from the deadly maze. Tell me about the choir? Of course, Lord Captain. Is there something specific you would like to know? What is this place? To us astropaths, this place is our cradle and our grave, Lord Captain. You're at the conflux of every secret missive, every order of prime importance, every scheme being plotted behind the scenes. You are at a place where each of your loyal astropaths is ready to lay down their life for crumbs of information, if that is your wish. We receive and send messages. For hours turning into days, we wander the dark depths of the Immaterium, carrying our voice through the warp's eternal night, bringing it to our comrades in some remote refuge, accepting the voices, signals and missives of others into our own abode. Those are most often meant for you, your lordship, and at times they are meant for no one. Like, the lore behind all of this is so cool to me. Point to the mechanical drum. What device is this? It is a secret compiler that helps us record, store, and to an extent unriddle messages. The astropaths first receive these messages in the form of muddled images, dictating what they see to the machine, which logs their every word. From the reels of the receivers on the ceiling, the machine-recorded words are routed through the lines under the floor into transcribers and then the thesaurus core. This core is the most important part of the mechanism, as it contains a vast catalog of various symbols and the methods of their interpretation. So it's like a decryptor or whatever. The compiler matches the images in the message against its data and forwards the result to the central cogitator and myself so that they can begin the ritual of decoding. I know of no other choir that possesses so wise a mechanism, and I praise the God Emperor for its existence. However, while the compiler hastens the extraction of intelligible meaning from perplexing imagery, an astropath must still open their mind to interpretation, which is no less perilous than the rites of receiving or sending an astropathic message. So, if your machine knows the meaning of the symbols, why can't it decode the messages itself? Regrettably for us all, your lordship, astropathic messages are not ciphered dispatches, but rather psychic imprints containing information. Only an astropath can read the entirety of something created through the medium of the warp. Furthermore, as messages pass through the Immaterium, they might become distorted by malevolent intent. That's so cool. It falls to your servants alone to seal their mind with faith and separate the true meaning from the influence of the ruinous powers. So if you wanted to hide certain information from me, you could? Vi's face twists into a bitter grimace. My duty is to shield you from the monstrous communications that filter through the warp. The screams of the Emperor's loyal servants, centuries dead by now. The nightmarish, maddening images of the Sea of Souls. The cursed symbols that cause astropaths to convulse in violent fits of frenzy. The messages from abominations in search of weak minds to devour. Concealing all of that from you is my duty. Damn, that's a reply. How does one become an astropath? He gives you a polite smile. I would assume that you know the answer already, your lordship. You have walked a similar road yourself, even though you took a different turn than I. Yup, we're a psyker. We were all part of the Imperial Tithe once, psykers delivered to Terra on the black ships. The dreadful Imperial voidships that transport psykers given up by numerous worlds as part of their tithe to the Imperium. But only a few of the candidates had what it took to study astropathy. Fewer still successfully completed the grueling training to be eligible for soul binding, and almost none survived the initiation. We were given the privilege to behold the Emperor's light, a light flawless and searing. That changes you. It wounds you irreparably. It takes your eyesight, but in exchange, you commune with greatness. His presence in our souls fortifies them as we stand against malicious power. Yeah, he's blind, right? That portrait is so cool. After the ritual, an astropath is assigned their position. At this or that adeptus, an astropathic relay or a ship. More often than not, our first place of service is also our last. If something happens to the car, where can I find new astropaths? Oh no, that was the wrong... Okay. Here. The expression on his wrinkled face grows even more serious. It would be more on point to say when something happens. The Emperor's blessing protects us from the warp's various influences. However, there are horrors dwelling in the void for which even this defense would be no obstacle, especially if one spends as much time in their company as we do. There is only one way to procure astropaths, and that is through the Adeptus Administratum. Luck permitting, unattached astropaths from the sector will be posted to the ship, ones who, for whatever reason, have lost their place of service. Failing that, the request will go to Terra, and we will have to wait a long time. Yeah, Terra is like the main world, right? Earth. That said, there are other options. Blasphemous, forbidden options. Unsanctioned psykers, unprotected and broken souls who seldom live past their first few senses. But even those would do, should the God Emperor put our souls through the severe trials. And judging by how rabid the warp has been of late, by the number of dead astropaths, those trials will be upon us sooner than our prayers could reach Terra. I do not recommend even considering such an option. Unsanctioned psykers are gateway for the archenemy's forces, for all the claims to the contrary made by those less knowledgeable on the issue. Okay, dude. Sure. Let's go talk to the other dude, the initiate, right? And tell him we found all the confessions, and then I guess we'll take a break. I think we're all done here. And we'll do the Kibella's quest next time. Or well, it's not Kibella's quest, but yeah. Voidship Shrine. Yeah, let's go there. Every ship of the Imperium has shrines. This is where the servants of the Ecclesiarchy watch over the purity of the crew's faith and fortify its member spirits on journey after journey through the dark corners of the galaxy where unthinkable horrors lurk. There you go. I have found the sources of the confessions. You have nothing to worry about now. Nothing indeed. I will pass the confessions on with a note regarding your personal involvement. May the Emperor protect your lordship. Wait. That's it? Oh. Wait, we didn't get XP for that? Nothing? What? Should I have chosen the other option? No, right? Huh. Okay, I guess let's go to the freight line and we'll just take a break here. Hopefully there aren't any cutscenes or whatever. I just want to see what it looks like. A void ship is like a city unto itself, inhabited by thousands of people, most of whom are disenfranchised rabble, providing an easily replaceable workforce. The common folk's only mission in life is to toil away in the name of the flagship's insatiable demands. Oh, dude, look at this place. This looks really cool. Okay, there is a cutscene. Damn it. Okay, let's see. Edoc Francois. A sturdily built man with an augmented jaw stands at attention. The dark circles under his eyes speak to many sleepless nights, but his voice is loud and spirited. Welcome to Freight Hub, Lord Captain. I am Edoc Francois, Captain of the Enforcers in Lower Deck Bay blah blah blah. The Master at Arms has assigned me to be your liaison for the duration of your stay here. The Master at Arms is who? Yocasta? Lord Captain, would you like to inspect the control room or to begin your search for the Temple of the Bloodspan Web? Do you know how to reach it? I'm sorry, I do not. No one knows. The cultists are too adept at hiding and keeping their secrets, and it worries me that you might have to walk around the entire compartment looking for the temple. Why are you worried? Is there a problem with this compartment? The lower decks are not suitable for someone of your status, and it's not just the grime or the crowds of brutish laborers. I suspect that the entrance to the Temple of Death is hidden in some dark corner where you might encounter criminals or contagious outcasts. With the kind of riffraff that dwells here, you might even be attacked. Oh, I hope so. I want XP. Such ghastly places you describe. We are not headed there, are we, Lord Captain? Cassius shivers. He frowns. To put it bluntly, although the bay performs its functions well, even its more civilized sections are sorely lacking in discipline. I was only assigned recently, so I haven't had time to straighten everything up, since doing so will require making some serious changes. I am not inventing excuses, Lord Captain. As the officer in charge, I accept full responsibility for what takes place in this compartment. Being assigned here seems almost like exile. Did you commit an infraction? No, Lord Captain, quite the opposite. I was commended for my service. This compartment has always been a troublesome one, and the Master at Arms assigned me here because he thought highly of my merits. I am honored to have earned Mistress Sauerback's trust. Yes, so it is Yocasta. What do the lower deck officers think of Yocasta Sauerback? Mistress Sauerback possesses all the personal and professional qualities required to lead the enforcers efficiently. I hereby offer you my assistance, Captain. I shall conduct an inspection and then share my thoughts on how to change this place for the better. Rejoice, Francois! For the Lord Captain himself has deigned to deal with your problems. Rest assured, I will provide you some crucial guidance once I'm done inspecting the bay. Okay, let's do that. But Francois stops himself mid-protest and assumes a more compliant tone. In that case, I urge you to remain vigilant. The freight trains move at great speeds, and the inhabitants of the residential units are despicable rabble. One must never drop one's guard around them, and Emperor preserve you from stumbling into the pestilence pit. That's where the madmen and the lepers live. Oh shit. Tell me about this station. Oh, it connects the lower decks freight, residential and artillery base. Our task is to monitor the flow of the labor force and prevent supply disruption between bays. Who maintains this hub? Traffic controllers. They are technomats trained by the priests of the machine cult to keep the sacred cogitators in working order and prevent train collisions. The consequences of an accident like that would be easy to imagine, especially if one of the trains were carrying macro cannon ordnance. Also employed here are an enforcer squad, a team of inferni, the clerks who keep cargo records, and a Medicae officer, a fine chap whose medicine of choice is a bullet, may the God Emperor forgive him. Not every voidship can boast of its own railway. What? That is true. Usually higher class ships are the ones that get trains, but it's far from the greatest thing a rock trader's warrant can see done. The credit here goes to Lady Theodora's predecessor, on whose orders the Adeptus Mechanicus assisted in birthing this miracle of sacred engineering from the womb of Dynasty's flagship. Bro, we even have trains in this ship. That's crazy. By the way, why is there so much dialogue and no voice acting, man? I really hope their next Warhammer game is fully voice acted, because this is so much pain. It is so bad. What is the situation on the lower decks? Most of the locals unload trains and sort provisions. We give maintenance jobs to the more capable ones. The rest are reserve workforce. Whenever crew are lost on a deck, we find replacements from among those rats. And if extra hands are needed anywhere else, there are always more than enough volunteers eager to work for rations. They even queue for jobs. The rabble caused you no problems, I hope? Surely you are joking, Lord Captain. The rabble are base in nature, and mutiny is always on their minds. They steal whatever they can get their hands on, and lately they've moved from rations and tinned food to weapons. We confiscate these regularly, of course, and keep the serfs meek and terrified. That's the only way we can protect the mindless herd from themselves. Oh, another thing the bastards do on a regular basis is build their shacks in front of service tunnel entrances. That has delayed the arrival of Infernus brigades during several emergencies, and caused air and power supply problems in adjacent base. We burn those saboteurs along with their shacks, but they just keep pressing on regardless. Mutinous rabble, how paranoid of you. To the best of my knowledge, being paranoid is practically a requirement in our line of work. In any case, the rabble are always plotting, take my word for it. The cult of the Bloodspan Web has a presence in this compartment, does it not? That is correct. The enforcers do not bar them from carrying out their sacred duties. As irregular as it is to have armed crew members set up a secret hideout forbidden to the enforcers, and that they can go around dispensing bloody justice. Do you know anything about them? Not much, but I'm always trying to learn more, given that they like to pay visits to my compartment. The Spinners honor the Emperor through death. They kill notorious reprobates and heretics. Sometimes they kill righteous folk, and other times even seemingly at random. Their rituals are morbid and their prayers are strange. Anyone not initiated in their rites would struggle to make any sense of them. Do you not take issue with death cultists killing people on your territory? I do, Lord Captain, but the cult is authorized to exist on the ship, which means their activities down here are not to be interfered with. Yeah. Francois avoids looking at Kibela. Okay, sure dude, sure, that's fine. Emperor protects. So yeah, man, I need a break. I feel like my head is gonna explode from all the talking. Oh, it's so bad. I need a break. Wait, who is this? Wait, he's down there? Oh, he just moved. The servo overseer makes a note of everyone who passes by its station. Every time. Okay, we'll see you guys soon.